Hey, everybody. Practitioners of all forms of creative living, including healers and magical practitioners, psychics, and philosophers, often are seen as problem solvers. Well, if that's the case, then why are there still problems in our world? Well, in today's segment, we're going to talk about why problems could be a good thing and how to transmute them through inner alchemy for living your best life. More on that when we come back. And welcome back. For those who don't know me or haven't met me before, my name is John Michael Salvato. I'll be your host for this series, which we call A Year of Thinking Magically. We do these broadcasts a couple times a week to hopefully inspire those who tune in to find one area of their conscious thought that they can shift along with us to begin creating a healthier, more vibrant, more authentic life for themselves and for those that they care about. So if you find value in these broadcasts, please remember to give us a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Click the little bell notification bell so that you never miss an episode. And thank you in advance for sharing these videos on Facebook and Twitter and elsewhere on social media with those that you think might vibe with us. So let's go ahead and dive in. You see, most of us see problems as unwanted pains in our ass, just annoyances, grievances, things that we could do without. But the truth of the matter is that all our affirmations, all our spell crafting, all our positive mental attitude, and the advice of healers and psychics and counselors will never be as effective at helping us to shift the energy around the problem until we start to recognize the essential truth of the problem, the nature of the problem itself. Actually, not so much the problem, but the energy around the problem. You see, nothing in our lives will thrive or exist without our feeding it, without our giving it energy. And that includes problems. Problems are only possible because our lives have meaning and value. If your life was without value, if your life was without purpose, you probably wouldn't even notice the problem. Think about that. And as such, that means that problems are the ugly, annoying wrapping paper that often holds a gift of opportunity inside. Have you ever seen a clam? Was almost said or an oyster, whichever one has the pearl in it. Usually they're not the prettiest creature in the ocean, and obviously I don't eat seafood because I'm allergic. So I'm not sure whether it's the clam or the oyster. I think it's the oyster that has the pearl. But within the shell of that creature, we find a pearl, often a pearl of great value. So when we look at our problems from this perspective and we see them as just sort of the ugly wrapping paper, the shell around there, we can acknowledge that the annoying, ugly, difficult to manage shell might contain something of value for us. We might also want to consider letting go of the need to fight our problems with aggression or resentment. Let's have a look here. I see that some folks are tuning in. Hi, Laura. It's nice to see you. You know, if we shift that perspective a little bit, that's what I want to talk about today. What if the energy that we shift first isn't the energy around the problem, but instead we shift our attitude about the problem? What would happen then? What if we engage the problem itself to see how it's highlighting the value and or the meaning in our lives, giving us an opportunity to change the energy around something that needs our immediate attention? What would happen then? Let me give you an example. My friend Donna has struggled with weight for as long as I've known her. And we've known one another since we were teenagers. And her weight issue has resulted in her self-esteem and her engagement with the general world around her really suffering. Instead of bringing her incredible sense of humor, her creativity, and her true beauty to the world, she withdraws. She hides behind goth costuming and posturing. She positions herself as a dark and mysterious witch, and the occasional self-deprecating comments about her being fat, making herself the brunt of jokes. And she's been doing everything she can for as long as I've known her, everything imaginable to lose weight. She's done keto and fasting and Herbalife and spell work and power walking, hypnosis, you name it. And yet, for as long as I've known her, she's been about the same size. She might lose 5 or 6 pounds and then gain 10 or 15 back. I think the reason for that is that she's been unwilling to allow the problem itself to be part of the solution. And what I mean by that is that our problems often prompt us to rediscover something, some untapped truth about who we really are. They force us to address issues that might have been ignored for way too long. So when I first met Donna, she was in her late teens, maybe we were in about 20, and she's a couple years older than me, and she allowed someone to break her heart, to gaslight the hell out of her, and to convince her that his infidelity was because she let herself go, which everybody on the outside knew that was a lie. And that set up a series of causes and conditions in Donna's life that made her feel like she needed to protect herself, which she did by building a fortress around herself that was entirely made of food and fat. And so she could replace the comfort that she thought that she was lacking from people with comfort that comes from food. But a couple of months ago, she and I were talking about how she's doing how she's using this time in the pandemic to try and make changes in her life. And I pointed out that social distancing was an opportunity for her to experience some healing if she was willing to get uncomfortable, if she was willing to maybe have an ugly cry or two, and to embrace the problem she was trying for years to destroy from a different approach. So today I want to challenge you. What if you and I stopped hating the fat and learned to be grateful for the ways in which our bodies protect us from the emotions that we were unwilling to resolve for whatever reason all these years? What if we were willing to shift our focus, and instead of hating the job that no longer serves us, or hating the relationship that's become more of a chore than a source of love, and learn to be grateful for the ways in which those challenges help to bring us to a place of growth? What if we thanked our bodies and let our bodies know that we're ready to work with these emotions now that we have some distance between us in this period of social distancing, and allow some safety by connecting with people that we know will be safe with as we begin to navigate these emotions? Well, Donna began to learn things about herself, about how she was protecting herself from harm that no longer threatened her happiness. He's long gone. She doesn't even know where he lives now. And that the only reason for her pain and sadness wasn't because she let herself go, but because she decided that she had enough abuse. She was grieving the loss that she knew was actually for her greater good. But she knew she had enough abuse. She energetically rid herself of that narcissist years ago now, decades ago now. And the best way that she knew how to do that back then was by creating this wall of comfort around her that no longer serves her. So it was time for her to forgive herself for letting that relationship linger as long as it did, and to congratulate herself for all she's accomplished in the 20 years since then. You see, her weight problem was demanding a lot of her, and as a result, it became a replacement for the captor that was her gaslighter. But once she recognized that her new captor, her weight, was a captor of her choosing and a captor entirely under her control. She was then absolutely free. She had the key to that cage and she could choose life over that next cupcake. And so she started taking walks again. She started disconnecting from all the toxic people on social media who were holding her confined in that space that had become comfortable for her, that space that she knew as the fat girl, the funny girl. And those people were holding her in that goth aesthetic, even though she personally didn't really vibe with the goth aesthetic. And please know, I don't think there's anything wrong with the goth aesthetic if it's yours. But if it's something that you don't fit in with, and you're just doing it because it helps you blend into the background of all the noise on social media, then it's not healthy. And so Donna began to become healthier and happier and more active. And without any conscious effort, she started losing weight. I think 10 pounds at first, but about 7 pounds a month every month thereafter. And she's lost over 30 pounds already. So what about you and me? What if our problems are just forcing us to address the issues that maybe we've overlooked, that maybe we've avoided in the past? What if we bring gratitude to the moment? We allow ourselves to be grateful for the opportunity to heal and to grow and to overcome the source of our problems. See, it's not the problems that we have to overcome, it's the source of the problems. Why did the problem manifest in the first place? And you see, at that point, we've shifted the greatest obstacle that's made it more difficult for us to begin manifesting our desired outcomes. When we begin to do that, something powerful in us and around us begins to shift. We no longer need to worry about costume or the approval of others. We begin to operate outside the realm of religion and superstition and begin to use our innate abilities in the same way that the ancient practitioners among our ancestors did, grounding our practice in the laws of physics and the power of mythos at the same time. No longer drawing those lines in the sand that this is where my mythology ends and where science begins, doing what metaphysicians throughout the ages have referred to as the art and science of causing change to occur in conformity with our will. It's really that simple. We didn't need to have a step-by-step solution right off the bat for our problems. We trust in the process and we know that the outcome takes care of itself. See, this is an important time of year. Spring is a time when our myths are all about rebirth and invigoration of nature, the natural process itself. So why not allow the natural process of problems unfold in a way that supports our growth and our abundance as well? And speaking of supporting our growth and our abundance, did you know that there's a private social network, an intentional community and mystery school for those who sincerely wish to explore ways in which to begin living their best lives? A place that's unfettered by dogma, gatekeeping, religion, and drama that we often find elsewhere on social media, where you and your personal right and decision to follow your spiritual tradition your way isn't going to be monitored or invalidated by somebody who never took the time to get to know you and to know where the focus of the community discussions and engagement might be that'll support your process. A place where the focus of our community's discussions, our community study and practical magic is on the idea of practical magic and metaphysics, the mysticism and the personal gnosis, not the religion, the external deities, group rituals, or initiations that come later, on manifesting your best self, so that when you become part of a religious community or a spiritual community, you bring your best game to their group ritual. You bring your best game to their worship and initiatory path, and a place where you'll be respected if, like some of the others of us, like myself, you decide that the path of religion and covendom is not your particular cup of tea. It's called the Inner Alchemy Mystery School. and collective. And for a limited time, we're inviting all of our viewers to come and take a 7 day sneak peek behind the curtain, if you will, to see if our community and the unlimited access that you have to new courses from a host of respected faculty members, new courses, new classes, new workshops, live discussion groups, video conferences, and more are a good fit for you for your personal spiritual and healing journey. So check out the web address. You'll find that web address right down below on the screen, and we'll look forward to seeing you there. We are going to be getting our vaccines this week, so I'm going to go ahead and play by ear how many days we actually shoot segments this week. But we are back, and we hope that if you haven't been vaccinated, that you allow science and not stupidity to guide your decisions, and that you do the same thing when it's your turn. So in the meantime, stay safe, mask up, wash your hands. Be sure to stay in the moment, because that's where the power is, where the potential is in this moment. Allow that moment to be filled with gratitude, and those problems can become stepping stones, and they can begin to become the fuel, the grist for the mill that you use to transform your life. We'll look forward to seeing each and every one of you soon. We'll go ahead and wrap our broadcast up today, but we'll look forward to seeing you in over the next couple of days, and hope that you stay in the moment, be grateful for what you've got, and always remember the best is yet to come. We'll talk to you soon.